Digital Practice Test 1, Module 2. Number 1, to find the median. Once they are in order, smallest to largest, you cross off from the top and the bottom until you find the middle value. Number 2 is a one-step equation. You're going to subtract 40 from both sides. You get x is equal to 55. Area of a rectangle is length times width. So here that's going to be 17 times 7. 119 centimeters squared. The minus is distributed to each of these, so this becomes 20w minus 4w minus 3w, and we're left with 13w. Y is 84 less than x, so here's x minus 84, set equal to y. And that's all we had to do. Number 6, we can cross multiply. So we set up our two fractions like this, and you multiply the top of the left and the bottom of the right. You set that equal to 4 times the quantity 6x plus 42, which looks like this. Notice you can factor a 6 out, so this becomes 4 times 6 times x plus 7. You divide both of these by 6. And now on the right we have 24 times x plus 7 is equal to 24 times x plus b. So what is b equal to? b is equal to 7. A variety of ways to do this. You could just take 300 times 0.8 and you'll get 240. If you wanted to solve it proportionally, you would say 80 out of 100 is equal to some unknown number out of 300. You could cross multiply and solve for x and you get the exact same answer. Number 8, Ty has a goal to walk at least 24 kilometers every day. And if he's walking at 4 kilometers per hour, 24 divided by 4, he's going to have to walk for 6 hours. Minimum. So we could solve for x, but notice what happens if we triple everything. So 3 times all of this, and 3 times all of this. We end up with 3 times 6 is 18, plus 3x is equal to 27. And there is our answer. A little bit faster than getting x and plugging in. F of 2 means we take this 2 and we plug it in for x. So 2 to the third power plus 9. That's 8 plus 9. That's 17. Here's a function for the total cost of leasing a car for a given number of months. And they tell us that x is the monthly payment in dollars. So if the monthly payment is 400, we plug that in for x. So 36 times 400 plus 1,000, or 14,400 plus 1,000, or 15,400. C. They tell you that x is the input, and they want to know what is y when that is true. So if you understand function notation, all we are doing is 10 times 8 plus 8, or 80 plus 8, which is 88. If J is parallel to K, that means that T is a transversal, so there are corresponding and supplementary angles. And that means that these two have to add up to 180. So we take 180 minus 133, and we get 47. That's the value of x, 47 degrees. So here is an equation in the xy plane, and we want to find the intercepts and then figure out a relation between the intercepts, b divided by a. So when x is 0, we see this, 7 times 0 plus 2y is equal to negative 31. Or in other words, 2y is equal to negative 31, or y is equal to negative 15.5. Now, the other way around, if we have 7x plus 2 times 0, because y is 0, now we have 7x is equal to negative 31. And that doesn't come out super even, so I will leave it in sevenths. And if you're paying attention to which one a and b is when we plugged in a 0 for y, and b is when we plugged in a 0 for x. So b over a is equal to this fraction here. If you do that in the calculator, you get directly 3.5, which is the same thing as 7 halves. An object travels at a constant speed of 12 centimeters per second. How long is it going to take to travel 108 centimeters? So you take 108, you divide it by 12, and you get 9. We have a total cost of 165, and then we have 37 and 16. One of these is a recurring cost, the other is a one-time fee. 37 is a down payment, that sounds like a one-time fee. And $16, we see one of our key words, like each, every, and per. So that means that that one has the variable. So if I rearrange things a little bit, that is the same thing here as C. We have a table of values, and we're told there's a linear relationship. So if you look at the change in y, we are going down 5. If you look at the change in x, we are going up 1. So consider rise over 1, that's negative 5 over 1. That is our m value, or our slope. And since they tell us in the table when x is 0, y is 18, our b value is 18. So we're looking for a slope of negative 5 and an intercept of 18. An object is kicked from a platform, and here's the equation that you plug in t, the number of seconds, and it spits out h, the height of the object above the ground. They want to know which number represents the height in meters from which the object was kicked. Remember, it was kicked from a platform, so it is kicked from higher than 0. So if you plug in 0 for seconds, you're left with 0, 9. That's the starting point. That's how high the platform was, d. Here's a function, x squared minus 3. The x values are all 1, 2, and 3, so if we plug these in, 1 squared minus 3 is negative 2. 2 squared minus 3 is 1. And 3 squared minus 3 is 6. So where do we see negative 2, 1, and 6? That is choice B. So if f of 0 is 8 and f of 1 is 12, you can write this a couple of ways. You could write these as coordinates, 0, 8, and 1, 12, and we could use our slope formula to figure out the equation. We can also recognize that as we go from 0 to 1, we go from 8 to 12. So our rise is 4, our run is 1. So 4 is our slope. And if you consider this point, 0, 8, that tells us their intercept is 8. So we're looking for 4x plus 8. D. When they say which equation correctly expresses k in terms of j and m, they just want you to rearrange the equation. So we'll take our original equation, we'll subtract 14j from both sides. We're left with 5k is equal to m minus 14j. And we'll divide both sides by 5. So k is equal to m minus 14j divided by 5. Choice A. So we're looking at a right triangle, RST, so let's draw it like this. I know that 584 is going to be the hypotenuse because that's the longest side. So we'll call this T, we'll call this R. And we'll make this 440, which means this is S, and then this is 384. Here's the other triangle. S corresponds to V, T corresponds to W, and R corresponds to U. They want to know the value of tan W, which is the same thing as tan T. Since they are proportional, whatever ratios exist, which they don't tell us, the tangent ratio is going to be the same. So tangent of T is opposite over adjacent, or 440 divided by 384. If you take this fraction and you convert it to its lowest form, there's a common multiple of 8 here, so we're going to divide the top and the bottom by 8. And when you do that, you get 55 over 48.